Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of a channel that has a name. It's not just Fred. Anyway, last episode we did Omega. We finished off the Stigmascape. And today we're going to go into more Omega. Good timing then, there's been another anomaly detected at the On. Assuming previous instances are anything to go by, this energy fluctuation is another of Omega's so-called invitations. If you don't mind waiting a moment or two, then we can discuss things with Master Garland. He should be here soon. Master Garland. Chief should be here by now. I bet my stock in the company is fiddling with that research data. Huh. Well, I suppose I should explain, even if the Chief might prefer me not to share. After your last run-in with Omega, Master Garland has some research notes smuggled in from the Empire, from Garlemald. The notes are part of Midas and Garland's legacy, who was, of course, the Chief's father and the Empire's preeminent engineer. The incident at Basha Citadel, do you know of it? I do. I suppose you would. Even outside the Empire, the tale was a famous one. Midas built a tower to harness Dolomit's power, and it brought annihilation upon the entire town in which it was built. That isn't the kind of event you can simply brush under the rug. And as you can imagine, the job of sifting through the rubble afterwards was no pleasant task. Master Garland was slated to assume his father's position as a head engineer, but this disaster, added to his opposition to the Empire's path of conquest, convinced him to abandon his homeland. The Chief has wanted nothing to do with the lunar transmitter, or the data used to create it, until now. I think he means to put that research to use in your conflict with Omega. In fact, given the time frame, there can be no other explanation. Listen to me, Lynn. The Chief's genius is plagued by a great deal of apprehension. But even so, once he makes a decision, he doesn't do things by halves. When the time comes, he'll come through for us. You have to believe that. Sorry I'm late. Was a little too focused on my work and lost all sense of time. That's no excuse, Chief. What have I told you about being punctual to staff meetings? In any case, I've shared the situation at the On with Lynn here. Good. Then you know that Omega is likely ready to continue with its test. Should we go and knock on the door? But Chief, Pix and Witch aren't fit for fieldwork yet, and the chirurgeon's given Nero strict orders to stay abed. What if Midgardsormer? Still taking a nap, is he? That leaves only you, Lynn, and Alpha. Maybe it's time I joined the expedition. No, Jesse, I need your talents elsewhere. There's a half-built device in the workshop that I need you to finish putting together. I've drawn up the design and completed the core mechanisms. The final assembly should pose no problem for an engineer of your abilities. Your device, does this mean you used the... Whatever you say, Chief. I'll have it ready and waiting for you. Just be safe in there. Right, it's back to the rift for us. Let's finish this experiment and bring the fight to Omega himself. Or itself, I think. Whatever. You think I can speak? Or read? Wrong. Let's back to the On. I've been quite busy with freaking glamours lately. It's kind of ridiculous. Lynn's Black Mage glamour is something that I would like to change, but I can't find anything that is to my liking. Bum, bum, bum. Are you ready, Lynn? Yes. Ah, there's no room for hesitation. We press on. Come with me. Without you, Alpha. All set to go. Quack, quack. That's the spirit. Let's dive right in, shall we? Spleesh. Splurge. back into the interdimensional rift, where there's really not much left. We're missing some test worlds. Omega's experiments must be nearing an end. Welcome, welcome. Your arrival has been highly anticipated. And I will confirm your earlier supposition. My experiments have indeed reached the final stage. Of the 89 test subjects I trialed, 4 Psi group combatants emerged victorious. Of those 4, further conflict determined the strongest among them. The surviving specimen shall be your opponent. Come to the last round of testing then. And should we win this battle? Or are we to finally face you in combat? Ow, 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 ow. Ah. Oh. I'm sorry. Oh. I was like fumbling around with something. Ah, like something from my from my sweater. And it like hooked itself into one of my mustache hairs and I started pulling it and that hurt like hell. Oh, that's such a weird feeling. Oh, anyway. Affirmative. Such an outcome would allow me to pursue my objective to its conclusion. I would continue analyzing the qualities which you allow to prevail despite your frailty, and integrate said qualities into my own arsenal. I will be pleased if my experiments yield the relevant data, but engaging you directly is still the most efficient and reliable testing method. Flip. Omitting intermediary steps. Evaluation of combat potential deemed superfluous. Proceeding immediately with final experiment. Stop. Alpha, your task is complete. Your presence amongst these test subjects is no longer required. What do you mean by that? I will guide your progress personally from this point onward. Alpha's role in transferring authority is now obsolete. Even so, Alpha is a valued companion, and if he wishes to continue on with us, I have no intention of leaving him behind. Companion. Companions are those who provide mutual benefit. The instant Alpha's authority became redundant, he lost his sole qualification to be regarded as such. Flip. Furthermore, the primary function of Alpha's existence was to lure you into my domain. He would be more accurately described as bait. Test subject Alpha can neither confirm nor deny my statement. He possesses no memories prior to his encounter with you. He was the first entity I created here in this realm, my first and only attempt to recreate a being who shared your mundane parameters. I based his incarnation upon a most ordinary life form, one which had somehow bested an enemy whose strength rivaled my own. By observing the feeble creature in the heat of battle, I sought to understand the source of this contradiction. It's a bike, of course. I repeated the experiment once, twice, 1,000 times, yet the results never deviated from estimated projections. The test was an abject failure, and thus I resolved to adapt my methodology. I would focus instead upon stimulating powerful opponents, and summon mortals of natural origin here to combat them. For Alpha, I devised a new purpose. I erased his memory, implanted a compulsion to return to me, then ejected him into your world. Weak beings exhibit a tendency to form groups. I surmised that his instinctual behavior would aid Alpha in bringing me the test subjects I required, a function he has performed with adequate competence. Tell me something, Omega. This ability of yours to generate matter was not originally intended for creating other life forms, was it? Flip, your query bears little relevance to the topic at hand. Affirmative, Alpha is equipped with matter generation capabilities for the purpose of unlimited self-improvement and armament expansion. Fabricating life forms was not the intended function, but the practice is not otherwise prohibited or problematic. I disagree with you there. As an engineer, I would advise against using such technology for purposes outside its design. From the very start, you've been making the same mistake. Even the powerful subjects of your test worlds were made crippled and incomplete. It is conviction which drove these villains to terrible greatness, the same limitless conviction which allowed the weakling heroes to overcome them. Do you not understand? Then we will never lose to your creations, no matter how much stronger they should be, according to your soulless calculations. Come then, let's be on our way. You too, Alpha. Have our base camp set up and running? You can dive into the final test world whenever you wish. As for the world's inhabitants, Omega has generously provided us with a basic profile. Your opponent's name is Chaos. The first heroes defeated this evil in a conflict that took place so long ago I'm having trouble separating myth from history. Unless, of course, it's an entity from another reality, as were the denizens of the ffXIV, in which case it may be pointless to even attempt to confirm the details. What is certain, however, is that this Chaos stands triumphant over a roster of truly monstrous test subjects. It promises to be a grueling battle, but one which will open the gate to fighting Omega itself. Alpha, you and I will need to support Lin, need to provide support for Lin. Will you be my assistant? You're bothered by what Omega said earlier. You think you're responsible for dragging us into this mess? Trust me when I say it is not your fault. We were the ones who awakened Omega, and we're the ones who need to deal with the consequences. Quite. By the way, do you still have that card you used to boil water in a kettle? It's been brought to my attention that I am a spoiled blue blood who can't even refill a pot without constant reminders. If you could take charge of that, then it would be most helpful. Quack. It is inconvenient without Midgard Sommer here to translate his chirping. Still, the best medicine for his words is for you to win this next contest. Let's show him we're on top of things, eh? Alphascape 1.0. Right. I will be right back. You know, this keeps happening. The moment that I stop paying attention, the queue just pops. It's just instantly there. I'm like, oh fuck. Yeah. Anyway. Some people may recognize this guy. It is, of course, Chaos from the first Final Fantasy game. Time to revive the age-old meme of it's time to kill Chaos. I'm here to kill Chaos. Chaos? Anyway. What doth Chaos do? Chaotic Dispersion, which is, I think it's Tango's turn. Latitudinal Implosion. It's going to attack one side, and then the other. Inferno. I'll have to hear this music. Knockdown, these are two separate stacks. Do not stack stacks on top of each other, please. Just never do that. At all. At any point in your life. Big bang. Just AoEs. Balls. Cyclone. My parsing. Damning Edict. There's a room cleave. Which will also knock you away. And off of the platform, like there's poor souls. Metagallic dispersion. I'm sorry, you cannot play this music and not expect me to hum along to it or sing along to it. I love it so much. Finished orbs. I'll go and take it. Bowels of Agony. It's me after Taco Tuesday. Yeah, with the dog first. The crystal destroyed? You dare! Big ball or something. Soul of Chaos. Another chaotic dispersion. Jesus. I don't think they used any cooldown for that. Tsunami! Finish orbs, maybe? No, first this. Big bang! A lot of bang for your buck. There's more fiendish orbs. Which the tanks should preferably take. Earthquake. Ugh. Latitudinal explosion again. Latitude, platitude. And look at. Not bad. Wait. Hey, nobody opened up the chest. Good. Very good. But the battle is concluded. Alpha Group is victorious. This also signals the completion of my experiments and the incontestable fact of your supremacy. And yet the process by which you consistently exceed your projected potential continues to confound my understanding. Is it possible that test subject Sid's suppositions are correct? That my calculations and simulations are fundamentally flawed? Do mortals truly boast some indefinable quality that I do not possess and cannot measure? Error. Logic loop malfunction. Resolution requires additional data. If the nature of your existence defies standard reasoning, then I must examine you from an illogical angle. I will subject the unknown to the imperfect. Test subject Linda Dare will proceed to a supplemental stage. Blip, I have altered this test world to reflect a recorded memory. It originates from a time when war had erupted on a distant star. I was employed to the battlefield. Or deployed. It was there that I engaged an enemy of unmatched strength. The contest ended prematurely, and I failed to bring down my foe. Subsequently, I lacked the data to fabricate a completely accurate simulation. Results stemming from such a subject are unreliable. Even should you be defeated by this incomplete creation, I will still honor your previous victories and engage you in combat myself. That is, of course, assuming you survive. According to my past observations, this opponent would accept only death as a condition of defeat. Prepare to face Midgard, Summer, red-maned worm of the Dragonstar, and nemesis of my world. This is not the faded spectre that you know, or immortal conjured simulacrum. You will contend with a true incarnation of the Father of Dragons, at the height of his power and glory. Omega, wait. You can't force Lynn to fight 2 battles back to back. She needs time to regain her strength. She must be allowed to recuperate, or the data for your testing will be skewed. Blip, acknowledged. Test subject Linda there, you are permitted to leave. Re-enter the test world when your strength has returned to optimal levels. Quack. Alpha seems distressed and Sid is nowhere in sight. Then I'm right here. I don't think you can see me, but I'm standing next to Alpha. Sid? He's invisible. My apologies, it was not my intention to undermine the gravity of the situation with this diversion. I'd noticed the kettle was boiled and sought some tea which soothed my nerves, poured myself a cup and was halfway through drinking it before I realized my hand, not to mention the rest of me, had turned invisible. I understand the situation is unsettling, but I assure you I can still work unimpeded. Now, we had best discuss how to approach. Oh, it seems to have worn off. Quick. No, you're not to blame. I did ask you to fill the kettle after all. You're not forgotten what Nero had said about your cart producing water with, unexpected properties. Although it seems the effects were rather different this time. In any case, it was pleasant to have a distraction from our greater woes, however brief. We'll set the rest of the water aside for now and decide what to do with it later. Alright, Lynn, we need to talk about your forthcoming contest with Midgardsormr. Watching through the monitor, I could see that this worm appeared different to the one we know. From everything we've heard thus far, it seems that Omega and Midgardsormr both hail from different stars. Two different worlds at war with one another. As a result of that conflict, the worm was forced to gather his offspring and leave his home behind. And after evading Omega's pursuit over the course of an unimaginable journey, the father of dragons arrived here on our world. I'm assuming the entity you're about to face is a younger, more vital Midgardsormr, just as he was when Omega first encountered him. Thousands of years in the past. Formidable foe indeed. Even so, I must find a way to defeat him. No, hopefully Omega's imperfect data will contain a flaw we can exploit. It certainly doesn't help matters that Omega's little surprise isn't registered as an official test subject. Can't even use the terminals to search for the most basic information. With that in mind, Lynn, I have a proposal. I wish to leave the completion of this supplemental stage entirely in your heroic hands. Rather than twiddle my thumbs whilst you prepare to contend with the dragon, I mean instead to work on a strategy for our inevitable confrontation with Omega. And then, my friend, we will put a stop to this mad machine once and for all. I'm glad we're in agreement. I'll ready my tools and you ready yours. You have a worm to slay. That we do. Let's see, can I get lucky and get an insta-pop? I don't think so, but you know. No, okay, I'll be right back. It only took a measly hour and a half as tank. Tanks are needed in this game, by the way. You know, we're always short on tanks. Anyway, I'm playing in the middle of the day though, so shouldn't be too surprised that it was gonna take a while, but an hour, 20 minutes, or something along those lines. That is a little much. Anyway, Midgardsormr is going to do a set of motions which will result in a certain move. 2 times spinning around will result in this move. Which is an area then. These are Earthshakers, just like in other fights. Classic Hagborn. Now you have to be close. When he does a spin and a do I even call that? Spinning a somersault, I guess? Two somersaults. It's going to result in an X. Also, these things become bigger and bigger, you know, if you haven't noticed already. Minigun Storm is also going to dash from where he is, in combination with these orbs. And then we get an Ancient Dragon, which will be invincible, so long as we don't kill the Immortal Keys. Because I continue to suffer from sin. One of these days I'll get it fixed. One of these days. Maybe sooner rather than later. Or maybe sooner than expected. Jeez. The sneezing. Screw the really cool animation, I don't care, I'm just sneezing. And that's what he did, he sneezed on us. Tail end. And cleave towards his back, I think. No, that is Dagmaster, okay. Extra flare. We've seen these before, I think. Not 100% sure. Anyway. They're AoEs that will advance in the direction that they are aimed at, basically. Going across. Then we're going to be slip-sliding away. Oh, my nose. Christ. Okay, I gotta leave. Akari's gonna target a part member and just drop mini Ack mode to it. Wow. Oh. Jesus. What a horrible time to start sneezing like crazy. Extra flares together with him dashing. And we're gonna keep sneezing. Anyway, that's it. No. Don't leave. You can have that trash. Another stunning victory, then. I felt a breath catch in my throat. No more... Wait. I felt a breath catch in my throat no more than once. Okay. More than one. Okay. That's the first time I'm reading that. Yet even as I watched the battle rage, I was struck by an idle thought. Did you notice the resemblance between Midgardsormr and Shinryu? Unlike most primals, Shinryu's form had no basis in any system of belief. For the theory that the summoner was simply influenced by the majesty and power of the older primal Bahamut. But now I'm beginning to think there might be another explanation. The primal took its shape from the ancestor of all dragons on Hydaelyn. The widely held concept of how a dragon appears has, for centuries upon centuries, been rooted in depictions of Midgardsormr. The summoner may not have even sought to imitate him specifically. Subconscious thoughts and memories alone could have guided the similarity. I'm sorry. I'm still struggling. Not that I have any way of confirming this theory, of course. Nevertheless, it is interesting that Shinryu's summoning should lead us to awakening Omega. A strange twist of fate when you consider the machine's connection to Midgardsormr. Well, whatever else destiny has in store, you've already bested the opponent that Omega itself failed to overcome. A feat worthy of celebration, I'd say. Oh my god, my nose. Apologies. Your move, Omega. Shutdown initiated. All core experiments and supplemental testing concluded. Okay, I'm gonna be right back. I need to blow my nose. Okay. That's a little better. Discarding test worlds. System resource rerouting to primary operations. Congratulations, Alpha Group. As the last surviving test subject, you have removed every challenger on your path to reach me. I too am eager to meet you in battle. The margin of error I observed between my simulations and your practical performance against Midgardsormr necessitates direct and immediate analysis. Confrontation imminent. Prepare for unmitigated hostilities. Then activate the relocation device to enter the arena. This is it then. Omega's power might seem overwhelming, but trust in old Sid. I have a fair idea of where its weakness lies. And I've been working on something to exploit that vulnerability. I just need a little more time to prepare. First things first, make a few adjustments here, like so. No, Alpha, you have any of those tricks and tools left over? I want to use them. I want us to have as many options as possible. So let's lay our cards on the table, as it were. what do we have here? Some sort of gem, a couple of stones. And one single card. This makes things bigger, does it? Or is it smaller? Right. It was foolish of me to ask. We'd best leave you in charge of when and how to use your special tools. Oh yes, I almost forgot. Can always call things right. I'm sure you'll do fine. Here, you should carry this as well. I filled an empty bottle with the invisibility water from the kettle. It might just prove useful in the right situation. Listen to me, Alpha. Up until now, Omega has poked and prodded us from one mad experiment to the next. And honestly, we have no idea of what might happen in there. But between us, I believe we have the knowledge and skills to prevail. If you see a chance to make a difference, I want you to take it. All you need is faith in yourself, and a little courage to see it through. Right, Jesse should have that device put together now. Let's head outside, shall we? Well, let's strike back to Rolger's Reach and collect my new toy. I do still need time to run through a final inspection, so feel free to rest in town in the meantime. We'll discuss strategy the moment I'm finished. Quack, quack, quack. I've since concerned for Sid's well-being. You have a feeling he wants you to follow him. You're getting a bit shaky there, old friend. Nero, they let you out of bed, did they? After studying the data collected from the battle between Omega and Shinryu, one has led to a certain conclusion. Of all the Primal's attacks, Shinryu's burst of lightning was the one thing that pierced the machine's defenses. Omega, it would seem, is vulnerable to electrical energy. Aye, all the available evidence supports such a theory. It's likely an intrinsic weakness that even Omega itself cannot fully compensate for. Yet be it as it may, I imagine it can still shrug off shocks generated by ordinary means, only to hit it with a truly gargantuan blast of energy. And so you made that. You based it on Midas's design, didn't you? The plans for the lunar transmitter? When my father was establishing a connection between the transmitter and Dolomite, he invented a method for accumulating and converting energy on a vast scale. Too vast, as it turns out. Or turned out. But a technology which leveled an entire town may be exactly the tool we need for the task at hand. I've made my own improvements and triple-checked the calculations. On parchment the idea is sound, and Jesse has done a fine job of assembling the parts. Failed to see the problem. What are you afraid of, Garland? I don't know. The device should give us the edge we need. It's just... Whenever I look at it, I'm taken back in those dark days. To those dark days after the incident. I remember bodies, melted by searing heat. I remember the bereaved. I feel the weight of their silent accusations. I remember the Empire's remorseless response. We turned outward in search of answers, but the inventions we created to ensure a future were used to destroy lives. To wage war. And that's why I fled. Came to Eorzea and swore to only employ technology for benevolent ends. But not as ever so straightforward. Every connection I have forged with the people of this realm reminds me of that fact. Often the act of living itself is a never-ending struggle against a world determined to oppose you. You can have the best of intentions and still cause hurt to yourself or others, but 'tis in confronting these wounds that we learn the better path. How to grasp those moments of true contentment. What drivel? You never used to bother with all this tedious introspection. Feeling our mortality, are we? Mayhap I am. I had no such hesitation when I was a student. It was all bright and shining innovation on the double, and later consequences to be damned. Now though, I don't mind thinking through the outcomes, and taking the time to produce just one rigorously tested and carefully designed invention. It's a reflection, I think, of just how much there is in this world I care about now, aside from myself. Oh, I don't understand you at all. But I suppose, if anything, Omega and its unfettered testing methods represent the student you once were. And if you insist that your present self is the better one, then you'd best prove it with that device of yours. Suppose I must. Although it is hardly fair to compare my youth to Omega's solitary existence. I always had the second best student in class, pushing me to excel. I seem to recall a twinge of irritation any time he would outscore me on an exam. We're not on bed too long. Better go and lie down before I fall over. Or vomit. That's pretty adorable. First Alpha, and now you. Come to check on my progress, have you? Well, I'm happy to report that everything is set and ready to go. Once you're finished with restocking and repairing, or whatever it is your adventures do, then we can head back to the Rift and confirm our strategy. Right, we will do that in the next episode. Hope you enjoyed this episode of this. I was playing... It's not just Fred, whatever. I was playing Final Fantasy 14. And next episode we're going to go and finish off Omega. And probably also do the one side quests in Ivalice. Goodbye.